thing about Linda is that she is motivating just in her presence. She doesn't even need to say anything. Linda can just walk into the room, walk farther down the hallway, and you can see everyone around her, adults, scholars, everyone, sit up a little bit straighter and get to work doing exactly what they have to do. And so she doesn't even need to open her mouth. She's a motivator just in her very presence.
Yes, we started in a little sandbox, and we started really small, and we didn't really have nothing to look forward to because we were in a box in high school. And she really made us look at the bigger picture, at something bigger that really wasn't there. She motivated us to continue high school even if we were in a box. And then we had another building, and then we have a big building now. And even after capstone, she motivated us to come to school and finish school even if our most important part was done.
She comes to work every day ready to be the best she can be. She puts her best foot forward every day. Sometimes she trips over herself, but she definitely puts her best foot forward. But she motivates because she also expects that and assumes that for everyone else. So from the scholars to the educators to everyone she comes in contact with, she expects us all to be the best that we can be. She knows we can do it, and she really motivates us to do that.
She would push you to be your best, whether as a student in her Algebra 2 classroom or as a teacher working for her. She was always challenging you to make sure that you were doing everything you possibly could to learn material, to be better at what you do. You know, she's made me a better teacher. She made me a better math student.
Linda is an awesome motivator. She gives the most in-depth and insightful evaluations. I always look forward to going and getting my evaluation because I learn things about myself that are positive that I didn't know before, and I also get really good feedback to grow. One time Linda gave me this book, Difficult Conversations, when she saw I was avoiding a conversation I needed to have. It's something that's helped me grow. And then in front of a crowd, Linda gives off-the-cuff motivational speeches, and she can also bring a crowd to tears with something that just pops into her head, and she gives it in front of everybody.
She had very high expectations, and she thought that I could do anything, so that motivated me. Her positive thoughts that, you know, she needed something, she thought you could do it, you just did it.
She's getting ready for the NEASC, and she's got to form all these committees, and she's got to get all these people working together. And let me just say, I don't think people were quite as enthusiastic as Linda was, but Linda was determined, and she was a motivator, and she got the right people to lead the committees. She got them all together to do the vision. She got big signs with the vision and the mission and the beliefs on it.
I remember I was struggling in school, and she taught me how to tackle these problems and get me through the situation. And not only that, she gave me some inspirational words that'll get me motivated and keep me going in the right path.
There is no doubt in my mind that Ms. Dadona was the most generous principal a student can have. She was generous with her time, money, ideas, love, and passion. I remember all the way back to the first week of school, there was ice cream for everyone. And then there was more. There was cookouts, field trips, celebrations, wristbands, t-shirts, and my all-time favorite, pizza.
I was new in education. 4 years ago was my first time stepping through the doors of a school as an educator. When I did, there was Linda, you know, ready to help me with forwarding articles to me. I mean, how many of us haven't gotten, 10, 15 articles a week from Linda? But here's the key part, is they were always for me. They were always something I needed to work on. So generous with her time, generous with her knowledge, generous with her experience, trying to help me become a better educator.
She took the time out of her busy schedule when she first hired me to research all the different ways that I could be employed here, because I only had my biology certification and needed to get my chemistry certification. So she really went above and beyond to figure out how to get me here and how to make that work, and she did. She was also extremely generous with her time. When I began teaching, she was always there.
Linda was very generous with her time. If she found out a student was having difficulty in their studies, especially in math, she would take them in her office and she would help them out and maybe show them a different way how to get to the same result. Maybe the teacher couldn't reach it, but she seemed to always be able to reach them. She was very generous, and she was very generous personally with me.
Linda Dadona is so generous that in the 2 years I have worked here, I've gained 20 pounds from the candy and the bagels and all the food. So thank you, Linda, for that treat.
Linda is very generous with not only her time, but her money. Frequently, she could be seen helping students with math, and if she found out that a student needed something, she was the first one to take care of that. Oftentimes, that meant her going shopping for maybe a backpack or clothes, or maybe it meant bringing out some food from her food stash.
She saw my friend Josh didn't have anything to eat, and she gave him some fruit. She gave him some fruit, and I thought that was very generous of her to give up her lunch for somebody else.
She was always generous with her time, either stopping to answer my questions or providing feedback or listening to my ideas for lesson plans. Linda was also very generous with her advice, always kind of giving advice in order to problem solve, although sometimes her advice seemed more like a directive. Linda was always very generous with her display of emotion, whether giving a generously long and hard hug or a generously loud and passionate congratulations. You always knew exactly where you stood with Linda.
She gave me my first roses for the appreciation for the Secretary Day. And I really appreciate that. And she also gave me my first job. She gave it to me when on the way back from the senior field trip. She said, "What are you doing in the summer?" I said nothing. She said, "Hey, I have something for you to do." 1 week after graduation, I was here, and I've been here ever since. So thank you for allowing me to be here and opening doors for me.